Right. We are live. Live with Johnny, and my name is Johnny. We got special guests here today. Mike Curtis. What's up, Mike?
I'm hanging in there. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing the same, But getting healthier every day, you know what I'm saying? So I can't complain. Feeling good and stuff like that, so I can't complain. So yeah, if you just tapped in, we're gonna be talking to Mike, and he's gonna be talking about some things that he has going on. Making sure the sound sounds good. We're gonna be talking about some things he has going on, some projects that he has in the works, and all that good stuff. So it's gonna be really exciting, I think, and we're gonna learn a little bit about Mike and his journey and things that he had to go through in life and things like that. So with that being said, if you are tapping in, make sure that you share this live. Make sure that you like it. Make sure you comment. All that good stuff, because that helps out in my algorithms. So I definitely appreciate that. So let's go ahead and get started. Without further delay. We was talking just before we got live. We went live. I think you said you was waiting on your drink.
Yeah, I'm good.
So you were drinking a Mountain Dew, and I just drank a Pepsi. But it's crazy because like last night I had a dream, right? I don't mean something more but I had a dream, and it was so vivid because it was talking. Whomever was talking to me, it was like a female figure. She was telling me that I drink too much soda, or I should stop drinking soda. Because I had stopped drinking soda, and I only had like few every once in a while. But in the dream, it was so vivid. She was like, "You need to stop drinking soda. That's why you lose them last few pounds." And it was so. And the reason why I mentioned it, Mike, because it was so real, it offended me in my dream. Like I was really offended. I was like, "Isn't that weird?" I'm like, "How dare you tell me?" But so hopefully it'll sink in one day. Hopefully soon. And I just give up soda for good. That'd be a good thing, Just do water.
Amen to
that. So so we were talking we're talking about the book. You got a new book coming out. But before we get into that and talk about the book, and are you part of the WBF Federation?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that and how you got involved.
Basically, I met Kyle over at the Hall of Fame with Jim Thomas in Indiana, and he invited me in. He was what Kyle was doing, bringing the martial arts together, is really something that I've got 61 years in the martial arts, and
wow,
I've taught for about 30 of it. And the biggest thing about it is they're opening it up to everybody, to all martial arts, for us to come together and unite. And that's something that's been big in my heart for, all my life, is like, why are we, you've got Kung Fu over here, Taekwondo over here, you've got Wateroo, you've got, all styles of martial arts, but we all have one common goal. And that is, to teach discipline, respect, and honor, and all the good things that you're supposed to do in the martial arts. The way we train our students from the get-go. I've started them at 4 and 5 years old, and the first thing I tell the parents is they're going to get hit. They're going to get hit in the head. They're going to get hit all over. But we pad everybody up, put helmets on, put everything on, and we teach them contact from the beginning, because the problem with a lot of martial artists when they start, the first time they get hit, they go into shock.
What I'm supposed to
do? Yeah, absolutely. And so, the unity of the arts, bringing them all together and putting everybody where we can exchange, all of our professionals, I've got a lot to offer, and so does Kyle, and so does everybody. But the whole thing about it is unity in the arts is something that's never really been done throughout all my career, and it's something I see that could really, really help every martial arts school in the world is to come together and let's not be in competition with each other. Let's help each other and scratch each other's back, so to speak, to make it a lot better place to be. So
Right.
the federation is doing that, and I commend them for starting that and getting it going, because that's a big thing that we need in the martial arts industry today is the unity where and exchange ideas and be able to help each other.
Right. Nice. Nice. Okay. So you were telling me a little bit about your childhood, and I must admit, just a little bit that you told me, I was intrigued about how you grew up and your upbringing and things like that. So can you tell us a little bit about how you grew up and then with your dad? Tell us a little bit about that story, if you would.
Yeah, when I was we were raised in the country on a farm, and my father was a real mean man. He drank a fifth of old charter every day,
Mm.
and
Old
he
charter
was
was that good stuff, huh?
yeah, it was big. We were. I was raised on a farm in Tennessee, a
Mm,
little town called Lewisburg, about 50
mm,
miles south of Nashville. And
mm,
my father was just a real mean man.
mm,
He would beat on me. He'd beat on my mother,
mm.
and
Wow.
I mean, I used to have to I'd have to peek around the corner and look and make sure he wasn't there before I came around the corner, because he was all time taking his fist and hitting me from the time I was probably 4.5, 5, through probably 16 years old. Uh,
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's talk about that a little bit. So you said like he would hit you like open fist or closed fist?
Started out open, and then it wound up being closed, and he broke a guitar over my back, hit me on my tailbone and my back.
Oh wow. So
He
this was like
he
real abuse then, like.
Yeah, it was hardcore abuse,
uh,
and
So so I'm sorry. I just want to know a little bit more. So when you say he hit you closed fist, was it like in your face or in your chest? Like I know because like growing up, we'd be like open chest and we would hit somebody in their chest or on their arm or whatever like that. So
he was brutal. He was a military man, and he he hit me as I got probably 7 or 8 years old. He
mhm.
went from a closed fist. I mean, from an open fist to a closed fist, and he would just literally knock the hell out of me. He knocked me out a few times.
Man, I'm so sorry to hear that. I guess what let me ask again. Like, where did he like? Was it like a facial hit or something like that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
He'd hit me in the face. He'd hit me in
Mm,
the back of the head. He'd hit me in the
that's
arm, the
insane.
shoulder, wherever he could reach me is
Mhm.
where he would hit.
Oh my goodness. So
But
that's how it was back in the days, I guess, because it didn't get any. I mean, it was a little bit better in my generation growing up, but I mean, you still seen a lot of it too. But wow, that's crazy. But continue on what you're saying. I'm sorry.
yeah, basically he just he abused me to the point that my mother had 6 sisters,
Hmm.
and all my uncles and my grandfather, they came in, and I told them, I said, look, I'm tired of getting beat. When I was 10 years old, I said, put me in the martial arts, do something. So they found an instructor, Cecil Patterson, in a style called Wateroo.
Yeah.
And so they put me in there, and all my kinfolk started pitching in, making sure I was getting good training. So I studied under Cecil for, I guess 7 or 8 years. And back then it took about 8 years to get a black belt. And it was a long road to hoe, but I tell you what, Cecil taught me, and the biggest thing about it is when I was turned 16 years old, after I joined the Boy Scouts and became an Eagle Scout, and I joined with Cecil, became a black belt. And when I was 16 years old, he was starting to beat my mother one day in the kitchen. And I came in and I caught his arm, put him into a joint lock, put him down on the floor, and smacked him in the head real good.
Good.
And
good.
It really felt good. It felt
I
tremendous.
bet it did.
It did.
I bet it did. Yeah.
After all the abuse that he had given me, it felt real good to have him on the floor under control and not able to hit my mother anymore.
Right.
So that was probably the highlight of my life right there, was just being able to take care of that man after all the abuse that he'd put me through. So it was a tremendous thing. I still, to this day have PTSD from some of the childhood stuff, but I've learned to cope with it, and it's something that I pity all the people that have really have been abused by the parents, because it's a total different abuse that you really don't, you don't know how bad it is until you live through it or you see somebody else go through it, because it takes a lot out of you. But I tell you what it did do, it made me the man I am today. It made me a very humble man, and it made me a goal seeker. I mean, when I went in the Scouts, I wasn't content until I made Eagle Scout. And when I started flying at 10 years old, when I got my pilot's license, the FAA gave me a waiver to get them when I was 17. And I had 880 hours by the time I turned 17 from 10, flying a J3 Cub. Me and my uncle had built a J3 Cub, and he taught me to fly it. And I tell you, it wound up, it was just really a thrill of my life to be able to manhandle my father and be able to fly an airplane and to reach the ranks of Eagle Scout. It, I've always been an achiever, and try to go to the top of everything I do.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Sounds real good. Thank you for sharing that with us. It's a really heartfelt story. So moving forward, so switching gears a little bit, you have a book called First Elite One.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about that book?
The book tells about my childhood upbringing from where I was just explaining about, and then it takes me in. It's a fiction book. It had to be a fiction book because it touches on a lot of stuff that I could probably go to jail for. The whole thing about the book is
that's interesting. You said that.
It's very interesting. It tells about my childhood coming up. It tells about getting drafted. I graduated high school like May 17th at 17, June the 16th, I signed up for the draft in 1971, and they drafted me on July the 10th. So it talks about all that, and it goes into the war and talking about what happened in Vietnam, and it's just it's a book that covers it. It teaches you about how to be an achiever, how to go and to go to the top of everything that you go to. And it's like in martial arts. I started out and then wasn't satisfied until I made Grandmaster. It took me 45 years to make Grandmaster.
Wow.
And flying in the airline transport pilot, I flew for Eastern Airlines after I got out of Vietnam. And it basically, the book tells about a lot of adventures that went on. And when I got out of war, I went, excuse me there, I went to the White House to meet President Nixon. And he was going to give me the Congressional Medal of Honor. And I told him I wanted $50,000 in cash. I said, medals won't do me any good. Money. I said, what I need is money. Wow. So he asked me about a few things. And I said, well, if you're saying what I think you're saying, you can't tell a cop to kill somebody. You can't tell a policeman to kill somebody. But you can sure tell a civilian to kill somebody and then give them a pardon. He said, you're my man. So what he wanted to do is he called me First Elite One. And he gave me the $50,000 I wanted. And he said, what do we do if somebody, when the FBI, the CIA, when everybody quits, what can we do? And I told him, I said, well, that's where I would take over. And so I became First Elite One, assembled a team, which is now Homeland Security. And of course, this is all fiction, of course, but I wound up being a hitman for the government.
We gotta shut this down.
And the book talks about different stories from Noriega to some other people that got in the way and everything. But basically, it's just it's a book that really you can get into, and you can see the real inner works of the United States government, how it all worked, because a lot of this stuff, of course, fiction, but it tells you how the government works, how they think, what they do.
Yeah.
And basically it's a book about history, the history of how everything comes about, from the Vietnam War up to present day.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of action in it. It's got a romance in it, and it's a good read for anybody that wants to read about how the government works, the inner parts of the government, how it really works.
Right. How many chapters is it?
And can
you hear me?
I'm at a point in life at 2 years. Let's see.
Can you hear
2021, me? I had a brain tumor the size of 2 tennis balls. And I had to have that cut out. That was a 9-hour surgery. And then 8 months later, they tried a TAVR, and I had to have open heart surgery. So 21 and 22 have really been tough on me medically to coming back. So I'm climbing out of the hole now after the surgeries that I went through. You know, and what part of it was Agent Orange? What part of it was, you know, some of the stuff we don't know. We don't have any idea about that. But
Mike,
that's pretty much, you know, it just covers a lot of area that the book does about, you know, my life, and what really happened and went through as far as the government agencies, the various bureaucracies, and that went on.
Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I lost my mic there for a minute because I was asking you some stuff and we didn't. So you were in the so you were actually in the Vietnam War.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. And I'm sure that there's some things that you still struggle with today. And you were saying something about like if you might be struggling with some Agent Orange type things. That's crazy.
Well, when I had open heart surgery and brain tumor surgery, you know, I asked the neurologist. I said, you know, what is, you know, do we know what this is has caused it or what it was? And basically, you know, they said they don't know. They didn't have any idea. They said they sure it could have an impact, but we don't know, you know, for exactly, you know, what it was or anything. But
without saying too much, what was Agent Orange used for? What exactly was it? For people who don't know.
Agent Orange was a chemical that we dropped out of the airplanes, and it kills the foliage so we could find the enemy. The Agent Orange is a very, very, it comes out in a ball of fire, and it burns people alive. It's a very, I think they've outlawed it now, but it was used very heavily in the Vietnam War. And
because the Vietnam people were hiding.
Yeah, the jungles. The Vietnamese were they went above in the trees, and they'd cut holes in the ground where when you was walking through Vietnam, you might just drop down in a hole, and when you did, you know, they'd cut your legs off, and
they were actually in the hole.
Oh, absolutely. They had a bunch of holes, and they run. There was we had a group of guys that went in after them, and man, I tell you what, those guys were crazy. They'd go in a hole and go in after the Vietnamese with a knife in their mouth, and it was unreal.
That's crazy. You witnessed all that. That's wow. Yeah, I've seen a lot of movies, and like what you're saying is exactly what I've seen in the movies. Like that's crazy. They did document that very well. I think the movie I've seen was, like you said, some people got caught by those group of people, and they was cutting off body parts and limbs and things like that, and sending them back to this station like
that. They did, wow. and they had we had saw an officer that got caught, and we were on the hillside looking down. They were torturing him. They were driving bamboo up under his fingernails, up under his toenails, and they were just torturing the hell out of him. He screamed for like 4 hours, and we told him, said, look, you know, just go ahead and shoot him, put him out of his misery, because they're going to keep punishing him and punishing him and punishing him. So he was shot and killed by one of our own American people, just to you know, just to let them know that you know, you can't torture them that way. But it was a horrible thing. It was a horrible thing.
Let me ask you a question, and this might be off the record. because I was hearing about something this yesterday, like the Hiroshima bomb, something like that. I don't know how much you know about that, but like just these things that we did, like back then, to I guess one was Japan, and then Vietnamese was, I guess that was, Vietnamese people. Like how do you feel? How do you think about? How do you think they feel about that type of stuff today? Because like with that bomb, the Hiroshima bomb, that took out a lot of innocent people. And then with the Agent Orange and stuff like that, if you're dealing with it, I'm sure people over there who uh, lived there dealt with it for years, and then dealing with today. Like, how do you think those people feel about us? And do you think it might be
I
like
think
retaliation
I
or something?
I think they you know, everybody says they won the war,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah, I heard that.
they won the war, and you know, you got over 50,000 Americans were killed in a conflict. They didn't call it a war until after the war was already over, and we first come home. We were baby killers. We were all this, that, and the other. We didn't have a. We were crazy. Nobody wanted to hire us.
Right, you
Um,
guys, it wasn't a welcome home type thing
there
because there was all
wasn't
type of there was all type of songs made against the war and things like that.
absolutely. There wasn't any yellow ribbons around the tree. When we come home, we had to duck and run. we we it was during the hippie era, where people were against the wars and everything like that. There was a lot of protesting going on. I mean,
Right.
hell, even one of our presidents, Bill Clinton, hell, he went and hid in Canada. And I thought, well, if that's an option, we didn't know, but um, when you got a president that goes and hides to avoid going to war, war is pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty, man. Everything else, you know what? I used to work with somebody. That's Pheasant Gordon was the last name. Pheasant Gordon was his name, and he worked for the bowling alley. And him and another guy, you could tell they were close. Pheasant was black, the other guy was white, but they both were in the Vietnam War. And anytime they got started talking about it, it would immediately stop. Like there would be only so many things said, and then it would stop because like we don't want to even go back and live that. So I mean, it's just, and I almost want to tell you, you have to say a whole lot because for you to say as much as you did, like that's like what did you have to do to get to the point where you're at today? Like you're not pulling your hair out.
Well, I tell you, I learned to be a very humble man. Uh, to be humble and have a high self esteem, I had to climb out of a hole. And in order to get out of that hole, I did it through martial arts, through a lot of training.
Oh, yeah,
The martial arts is what made me the man I am today.
nice, yeah.
It teaches you a way of life that you learn respect, honor, loyalty, love your brother. There's no such thing as a race. I mean, when we're in Vietnam and you're getting shot at, and you got a black man and a white man, and we're back to back, and he's watching one way and I'm watching the other, and he's got to protect you and you got to protect him. The
Mm-hmm.
color of the skin, or
Don't
male
matter.
or female or whatever, it doesn't make any difference
I've heard
because
that before. Yeah.
we were all brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all my brothers today. What of them are left alive, and we try to get together every now and then we can, but it's just it's
What's the temperature like now? Do people give you guys love now? Because I noticed when
I'm
I said thank you for your services, you didn't react like other people react.
a lot of it took in the last 2 years. I've had more thank you for my service than I have in my entire life.
Yeah.
America's just coming around to thanking the veterans in the last couple of years. Uh, Before that, it was kind of a rough road to hoe, but
Mm.
just my training in the arts and my training as a professional pilot. Um, I've always kept a high self-esteem to overcome the PTSD.
Mhm.
I have to take sleep meds, but that's something that because they don't want me dreaming. If I dream, I'm liable to kill somebody. I don't, not I'm not one for, if I don't take the meds to go to sleep, I'll stay awake, and thoughts run through your head
What
over
like
and over.
what type of thoughts? Thoughts taking you back to the war?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Um, that's powerful. You said that because a lot of people deal with stuff, and I'm not taking nothing from what you deal with because you've been through a lot. But a lot of people deal with things in their life, growing up, parental abuse, things like that. And for you to mention how martial arts made you be able to manage your PSD and things like that, that's huge because with me is music, but like some people need something to help them with trauma in their life. And that's, like I said, that's powerful that you mentioned that. I think with martial arts, it's kind of, I don't know, people aren't, when I was coming up, like every other kid wanted to do martial arts and karate, but I don't
Uh-huh.
see it like that anymore. But exactly with what you just said, I think that it needs to be like that again, to where they have some type of outlet other than video games, you know what I'm saying, to challenge their mind and then be respectful, you know what I'm saying? Even if video games, you were able to do video games and you were able to calm yourself, then what about being respectful and then honoring your brothers and your sisters and things like that? So it's a lot more that goes into martial arts. What say you?
Absolutely, absolutely. The arts teaches you discipline. It teaches you a mindset to where that you love your neighbor, you love your brother, you're there for him. I worked on the Vietnam suicide hotline for a little while, and
Wow.
I talked to one guy for, I think it was almost 7 hours on the phone,
Mhm.
and I saved his life.
Mm.
And I met him about 2 years later, and we cried each other to death. uh, but he thanked me a lot, and I had to get off the phone calls because it started bringing my PTSD back too much, and
Mhm. Yeah, I bet.
trying to save brothers. But
Mhm.
uh, we had just a lot going on, and the biggest part about it is if you learn from your experiences. Everybody has something that they can learn just off of making mistakes. you know Anybody says that he's perfect and he hadn't made a mistake, he hadn't learned anything.
Right.
We have to make a mistake to learn, to go forward and go be positive. And that's my biggest thing is I tell people, you got to be positive. If you don't keep a positive mindset, you cannot control. People get on drugs, and when they get on drugs, they can't get off or whatever. You can get off, but you have to have that mindset that you've got to think positive and build your self esteem. And the arts and flying and the scouting program, all that stuff makes you a better person and makes you able to cope with society, deal with everything that's going along in your life, and just being a good person and loving your neighbor. That's the problem with America today is we don't love everybody, doesn't love everybody else.
We
They're not
divided.
doing
We
it.
divided.
Yeah, we're
We
divided,
divided the country, almost divided in half. And
yeah.
there's a whole saying that says in the United States, united we stand, divided we fall. So
Yeah.
right now we divided. So I mean, if that's true, then we. But here, let me say this. Do you remember the sitcom Different Strokes? But maybe you do, maybe you don't. Different Strokes had Arnold on there. What you talking about, Willis? Maybe not. Okay, I say the point. They were child stars, right? And so one of the child stars, he was on drugs, and then he got off drugs, but because the female child star, I think she had a case or something, she had to go to court. So he volunteered to go to court to help her out. In doing that, he left and went back on drugs. So sometimes you helping somebody out, especially if you're not strong yourself, to pull you back in, and that's kind of like what you said.
Yeah, it's a dangerous thing because you have to change people, places, and things. And if you go back to the same people and the same places and the same things, you're gonna get right back on the drugs. So that's the whole part of building your self-esteem, making yourself positive, making yourself humble, and loving your neighbor. Because if you don't do that, then you're susceptible for most anything. It could be drugs, it could be abuse, it could be, whatever you don't want done is what would happen. So, you know, we try to look at people and look at things, and I just tell people stay positive, think positive, and act positive, and build your self-esteem and help your brother. Don't just hog it all, try to share it, and let God bless the people that need blessing at the times they need it. Pray for them, help people out. That's what it's all about. Is if this country could come together and pray together and stand together, we'd be one powerful country.
That's it. That's it. I was living I just moved. I was living in a neighborhood, and like there was some, because I live by myself. You know what I'm saying? So there's some things like I couldn't get to right away. And you have neighbors come over and be like, yeah, you need to get to that. You need to get to that. And then I stepped back one day and I was like, well, why haven't they volunteered to help me? You know what I'm saying? They know I'm doing myself, and they know it might be an issue or whatever. I try to stay on top of as much as possible, keep stuff. But like if it's an issue, then like why not come? We don't do that anymore. We don't. So my question to you, and I was thinking about this, is why you think people aren't willing to help people, or even males willing to volunteer and help with the youth anymore? Why do you think that's?
I think the problem with the country today is the morals that people are raised with. My father was very abusive. My mother was very loving, but I had some uncles and a grandfather and grandmother that brought me up in the church. And, I think people have gotten away from God so far that's causing a lot of the problems. Is they're dousing their religion, and they're not trying to be a Christian, or if you can't be a Christian, at least be a good person, and I think the problem in the country today is people are not good anymore. They've got to where they've got this.
Well, the thing is, not to interrupt you, but the thing is like, okay, so can you be a good person without being a Christian? That's kind of a question, because in my opinion, like Christianity and things like that gives you guidelines. You know what I'm saying? To don't do this. They got the 9 commandments, the 10 commandments. Look, I said 9 commandments, the 10 commandments. So there's guidelines where you're not supposed to kill nobody, don't steal nobody, and basically how you're supposed to treat people. So without having those morals, how can you really consider yourself, you know what I'm saying, being a nice person? I don't know. I don't know if the two go together.
I think the best thing to do is like I said, is be positive. Positive about everything. I mean, not just one thing, but be positive about life. Be positive about your job. Be positive about your family. Be positive about your children. Be positive about everything. Because if you're not positive, the negativity will come in and take you down. I mean, take you down hard. You was talking about the relapsing drug dealers and everything. We was talking about changing people, places, and things. You have to have a mindset. That mindset, you got to make your brain work a little bit. And in your brain, if you don't put, you got thousands of neurons in your mind. They can fire positive, they can fire negative. If you get them to firing positive and have the positive outcome in your brain and you think positive, you're going to be able to help people. You're going to be able to encourage people. You're going to be able to give them the good news, the good things to say at the times when they need it. And
Wow.
that is the biggest thing. You've got to speak your part and help your brother. If you don't give him that push along, that little nudge, and help him, you're not going to do anything. It's it's something that I think in life right now. I'm trying to live a good Christian life, and God saved me for something. I went through that brain tumor surgery, the open heart surgery. I went down for 3 years or so. And when I come back up, I died for 1 minute and 26 seconds during the brain tumor surgery. And everybody says, what happened? What happened? Well, they hit me with the paddles and I didn't come around. My sister was there, and they said that she slapped me so hard that it rung all the way across the operating room. And I'm sorry, the ICU room. And she said, "You're not leaving me, Bubba." And hearing her voice, I opened my eyes up. So, the good Lord has got something planned for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's this book. I don't know if it's just the way I'm living my life. But I'm trying my best to be a good steward, so to speak. And anybody that needs help, I've helped. I've tried helping everybody financially and just moral support. You need people to nudge you along, tell you you're doing good. People that hold their opinions and don't tell their fellow man how good a job he's doing or what he might be doing right or wrong. I mean, it's just this is life. And the problem with the children coming up today is, like you said, the video games and everything. We didn't have any of that. We could take a cardboard box in the 50s and entertain ourselves for a day.
Right. I got a bag of marbles that I just bought, and I'm gonna give them to my grandkids. They don't know what to do with them.
I know. and we can play for 2 days with a bag of marbles.
Play for 2 days. There was all types of tricks you could knock them. We ain't gonna get into all that. I got the big marbles. I got the small ones.
Yeah. They're all different sizes and then you different colors.
Yeah, you look for that specific marble like you wanted that. That's crazy. But I don't want to take a whole lot of your time, but let's talk about your book. Where can you find your book
at? I've got a website, michealcurtisbooks.com. And
I got your website up there so y'all can see it.
Yeah, and you can buy an audiobook, an ebook, a paperback. And the book is it helps you in life too, because it has a lot of things the achievements that I go through in life, and it tells you what the real deal is. And the real deal is helping your fellow man, being there for them.
Yeah.
And it's the book First Elite One. It's a fictional book, of course, and it has to be, or I'd be dead.
Yeah, right.
There wouldn't be much left of me right now, but
man.
At any rate, it's definitely worth reading, and it'll
Yeah.
give you insights to how to be humble, how to go after your achievements in life, and it's something that life taught me, and I hope to teach others. Is just like I said, to keep a good state of mind and keep a good, mental clarity as far as staying positive, and that way you'll always, be able to help your fellow man.
Right. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Now we appreciate you. And you say let me see here. Let me see. Where did you say you was from? Close
Lewisburg,
by.
Tennessee.
Lewisburg, Tennessee?
Yep,
No.
Lewisburg, Tennessee.
Really?
Yep,
Nice.
that's where I
Okay,
was
okay.
born and raised, but I'm living in,
Oh, that's where you born and raised.
yeah, I'm living in Quincy, Illinois now.
Quincy, Illinois. Quincy, Illinois. Okay, yeah. So nice. All right. So you country boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what's up. Well, you need to show me how to have some chicken so I can have some eggs. These eggs are expensive. So yeah, all right. So with that being said, thank all of y'all for tapping in. I guess first Elite One said very inspirational. I don't know if that's your website, but y'all make sure y'all check out that book and get you a copy, read it from front to back, and maybe we can have him come to Peoria one day and sign it, do a book signing. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like a
Make it a
plan.
bestseller. Yeah.
Absolutely, I'd love
Make it a
that.
bestseller. It's about life. Have your kids read it too. I don't know if it's the kids read that they can read it a certain age level, but read some to your kids. How many chapters is it?
I think it's I'm trying to remember 28, about right at 300 pages.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. Okay.
About
Well, cool.
300
Well,
pages.
300 pages. Yeah.
On the
That sounds
audiobook,
like
I
a
think
good
it's
read.
4
Yeah.
hours, 4 hours and 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, nice. Oh, so you even got an audio book. Okay. Well, cool. Well, we definitely gonna have you on again and talk to you some more, maybe about life and things like that. Just life things that get us through life a little bit easier. You know what I'm saying? So we want to talk to you a little
Sure.
bit more and stuff like that. So is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No, I'm good. I just I
So
need a
this interview wasn't that
Lamborghini.
bad.
I need a Lamborghini, so
We're gonna be there one day. We're gonna be there
no, I'm
one
just
day.
kidding.
No.
I just like to retire decent.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what's up.
I'm
Are you
71 and
retired now, or
yeah, I'm fully
you still
retired
working, or
now.
you retired yet? Oh,
No,
okay. You retired yet?
yeah, I'm retired.
Nice.
71, I
Living
had to
that
hang
life.
my hat up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what's up. We can definitely learn a lot from you, and we want to thank you for coming on, and hopefully, like I said, we could talk to you again on another forum and things like that. Because I'm going to be talking about some issues, so I'll reach out to you or Kyle, and we'll get you back
All
on.
right. Well,
All right,
thank you
cool.
very
Well,
much.
thank you for thank you for talking to us. You have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. So that's what's up. Very good interview. If y'all want to, y'all can leave your questions, leave your comments. Vietnam War, y'all. Can y'all even imagine like living in that time to where y'all had to deal with the Vietnam War? Like that's crazy. And then this is Michael Curtis. This is his website, so make sure y'all go check out his website. We'll take a look at his book, which is First Elite One. So you can Google it and all that stuff. And I want to thank y'all for watching, everybody who tapped in. We did get a bunch of views, maybe like 100 views so far, and I know it's gonna go from there. So with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. Let me see if there's messages. I'm getting a message coming in. Make sure I didn't leave anything out. And all right, so Yep, we're gonna get out of here. Thank y'all for tapping in. My name is Johnny. Out.